G'day fellas and welcome back to another casted game. We are jumping in straight away to watch two of the world's best players go up against one another. And we've got a real special game because we've got the new king of the Imperial Age. It's Don Ard. He spawns on the north side of the map, playing in the color green as the Abbasid. We've seen him go fast Imperial after fast Imperial after fast Imperial, and the question is he going to dare do it again? Up against Sass, playing the Holy Roman Empire. If there's a civilization that's dangerous, that you don't want to be going fast Imperial against, it's got to be this civilization. A civilization that can punish you once they reach the Castle Age. And I'm curious to see exactly how Sass is going to look to play it today, because for anybody unfamiliar with this civ, it works on basically the best way to describe it would be tempo. Once you get Castle Age, you pick up relics, your tempo gets crazy. You're able to push out a huge amount of units, and you've got the option of going Imperial yourself. Gosh, that was a bit hard to say. Imperial yourself. You've got your option of going Imperial yourself. Jeez, that's a bit of a tongue twister. Anyway, you guys get the point. And in the event that you do, you're able to mitigate a lot of what that loss is that a lot of other civilizations might have if they were to go or consider going Imperial Age. And that's largely because of the Palace of Swabia. It basically just gives you 3 town centers for free. It's incredibly strong. But I think the question is, do you really want to be playing it late game against the Abbasid dynasty in the Imperial Age? And arguably the Abbasid is the king of the late game civilizations. We can see Sass just missing out on a sheep over there, over on that that edge of the map. But I think that, I mean, realistically, if you're talking about like post-Imperial civilizations, obviously the Abbasid dynasty are at the top of my civilizations. I mean, the Abbasid, it used to be the English, now it's the Abbasid. I think China's still up there, quite high. But the Holy Roman Empire are up there as well, and I think it's a little bit matchup dependent. Obviously, the Holy Roman Empire do very well in the late game against the Chinese, against the English, but I feel like against, say, the Rus or against the Abbasid dynasty, it's a little bit different. So I'm curious to see exactly what kind of approach Sass goes for here. I'm somewhat tempted for him to be going or thinking maybe the best decision might be a 2 town center into fast castle, collect all the relics, and then try for a kill in the Castle Age. Maybe just like look to put on a lot of pressure, because if there's one thing we know about Don, it is that he loves to put on plenty of pressure once he gets to Imperial, but he doesn't really make a lot of units. So there is a window there that can be exploited. If you can get knights in his base, you can really look to do some damage. But the age ups are going to be coming through. Arkan Chapel coming in on the front side of the town center. Now, if we had to give this one a rating, unfortunately, it's not going to be a very good rating. He gets the town center, he gets the wood line. That's it. That's it. Doesn't get the gold, doesn't get the stone, doesn't get the berries, doesn't get anything. But he cancels it. Okay, all right, okay. A little bit. He cancels the Arkan Chapel. I have got respect for a person who can cancel something like that. To be able to say, you know what, I think there was a better option here and I'm already committed, and then saying, you know what, I'm not committed, let's go. This is a smart move. I like this decision. And it tells you something about his intention, right? Because he's saying, okay, well, I'm going to take the wood line. Because you got to think about it from the perspective of, that Sass is thinking, right? Like he's thinking, okay, I'm up against an Abbasid dynasty. If I'm getting wood, that doesn't really help me at the moment. Whereas if I put it over on this wood line, first and foremost, it's on the back of my base, so it's going to be a little bit easier to defend, even though it's not underneath the town center. But I buff up my berries, and I also get access to stone, and that's exactly where we see him start to move. So don't be surprised to see this little prelate come over here, start buffing up the villagers out here. Honestly, if I was Sass, I'd almost be tempted to bring more villagers over to the Arkan Chapel, just so you can start that buff up a little bit sooner. But let's ride on board over with the Don on the north side of the map, because as you would expect from the Don, it is going to be an economic win coming out on the Abbasid dynasty, and of course following it up with an inevitable town center, and inevitable town center. And it looks like he's picked up enough gold just to go into Fertile Crescent, so not going to be dealing with any wheelbarrow shenanigans or any fresh food stuff shenanigans, just jumping straight into the second town center. And to be honest, I think when you're going for that kind of build, like this opening that Don's doing, I'm almost tempted to say just go straight into like 3 TCs and then just go Castle Age. We can see he picks up that upgrade straight away. Fertile Crescent is coming through for him, so expect to see a TC drop down pretty soon. It's a massive reduction in cost on the town centers that you get, 25% reduction. So it reduces the TC down from 400 wood and 350 stone down to 300 wood and 266 stone, if I remember correctly. We'll be able to see, we'll be able to spot it, but it's a pretty big buff to those. Let's have a look and see. 400, 300, 262, so not 266. We were close though. So he's just about ready to actually get this town center in. Look at the timing on that, 446. He could have placed it, and he throws it down on the stone, which obviously indicates it's going to be a 3rd TC in play here, maybe even a 4th TC. I mean, when you spot that your enemy is going for a stone, this to me is just like, hey, actually, you can go for 3 TCs. It's fine. So, look, to be honest, probably not 4 TCs. 3 is obviously the safer number here for Don Artie. But let's ride on board over with Sass, see how he's doing now as he begins to take his stone. He's finished it. He's heading out. And he's actually going to be putting his town center a little bit far forward here. So, going over to the deer patch that's closest to his base. And we start to see him taking out just a couple of deer next to it. So interesting decision. Now, keep in mind, he does have the berries back here. So this is going to be, these berries will be buffed up. So it's interesting that he decided to come out here. And to be honest, if anything, it kind of indicates a little bit more of an angle towards the castle age. But I guess the matchup that he's playing, it's a bit of a passive matchup. So who knows? Maybe it is towards the castle age rather than the Imperial age. But very passive opening. And now we do see Don is beginning to work back over on his stone mine with the second town center coming up nice and early for him as well. And look at all the sheep underneath the TC for Don. 15 sheep in this game for Don Artie. Every 4 sheep, you're going to be getting 1,000 food. So he's sitting under just under 4,000 food right here. Scout going to run in underneath the town center. Could look to try and take it out. But it looks like, yeah, okay, Don's going to go for it. 10 villagers jumping in that TC. That's going to be a dead Scout. So a little bit of a misplay there from Sass. Not appreciating the fact that there could have been a TC there. So does lose the Scout now, and that makes it a bit harder for Sass, because obviously Sass would have done the math. He's like, okay, well, if you had a TC on the stone, it's probably 3rd TC. So he's got that information, but he doesn't really get much more than that. We can see the stable now coming up for Sass. So if he wants to add in a Scout, he's going to be able to do that, and he does indeed look for it. But normally we do see the stable added in for something like Horsemen. So not going to be the case here, though. And interestingly, no real play towards the castle age yet from Sass. Normally at this point, I would have expected like a large amount of villagers over onto food. He's got 15. I mean, that's not terrible. 11 villagers out here. And I think the one thing to note is that it's going to take time for that to build up. The one real key factor here for Sass should be putting a couple of extra vills over onto gold, which he's got. Honestly, 7 vills on gold is more than enough for the Holy Roman Empire, but looking to get out 2 prelates. And that's what he's doing. He's playing this perfectly. Honestly, I love the fact that he's got the prelate coming out over to the gold. We'll buff up the vills on the gold. He's got the prelate here sitting inside the Archon Chapel, and then a 3rd prelate out for these villagers. And then you can use these prelates once you've aged up to go out and pick up your relics, because you will be going into Regnitz Cathedral. Definitely the appropriate strategy. But it's interesting to see how the change in the meta at this level now is a bit more towards that greedy side. We are seeing this happen a lot more, but take a look at this. Don going to be starting off with a barracks, obviously spots out the horseman from his enemy, so says, you know what, just to be a little bit safe, I'm going to be throwing down the barracks, just get a spearman or 2 out while I head towards the castle. Now Don going to be moving into fresh foodstuffs, of course. The unique technology available to the Abbasid dynasty going to be reducing the cost of villagers down from 20 food. What does it reduce it to? Down from 50 food, down to 32 food. Jeez, I was like 20 food down to what? Excuse me? Hold on a minute. So they go down to 32 food, so it's a lot cheaper. Now, honestly, a lot of people think of this as an eco-tech. I don't like to think of it as an eco-tech. To me, it's more of a... It's just kind of like a broader tech. I mean, it's eco in the sense that the more TCs that you build, the more reward you're going to be getting for the technology, because the more vills that you create, and therefore the more discounts you're going to be getting. It's that classic case of the more you buy, the more discounts you get. But I don't, compared to say something like the French villagers building faster or the Chinese Song Dynasty, I don't really think it's an eco buff in that way. But it definitely gives you the incentive to build more TCs, so perhaps there's an argument for that. But we can see Don is going to be spotting out the horseman on the back of the base. Obviously, has the spears towards the front. He's going to be able to secure up the wall. Villager did come back, nice and safe inside the town center for the moment. And Don towards that top side. Notices Sass is up there. Sass actually moving into a wheelbarrow. So a little bit of extra gold here for Sass, so he throws in the wheelbarrow. I do like that. How many prelates has he got, though? That's going to be a key decision. See, only 2 prelates. And honestly, I feel like when you've got this much extra gold, so the extra 150 gold, I would have just thrown that into 2 extra prelates. And you would still be in a fine position here. He's actually got way too many vills on gold at this point. And those extra prelates, I mean, realistically, you can just start marching a prelate out, just try and snipe this away. I mean, Don's got eyes on it, but you take it, and now you've got pressure on the map. So the relic gets picked up. Oh my god, he's going to get a Burgrave. Oh no. Oh gosh, I didn't expect this at all. Okay, all right, different story now. Okay, this was not the narrative I expected to spin today. Culture Wing coming up for the Don. So that's him saying, I am going for a fast Imperial. The Culture Wing, when it comes through, it's going to reduce the cost after he's obviously got that upgrade. We're talking about the Preservation of Knowledge upgrade. Once he's got that upgrade through, then he reduces the cost of subsequent age ups. But look at this, Don with no information about what his enemy's doing. And I think in this circumstance, you almost always expect the enemy to be going into the Regnitz Cathedral. So I don't think Don's even going to be expecting anything. Probably just going to be minding his own business, sitting in his base, gathering up his gold, like, I'm just going Imperial, don't mind me. If there's one thing Don's got going for him, it's the military wing will give him 3 hand cannoneers when he does hit Imperial. But I think there's a larger question about, will he survive when the Imperial Age comes? Because, I mean, it doesn't matter if you got 3 hand cannoneers. If you got 46 spearmen in your base chasing you down with the upgrade from the, what's it called, from the blacksmith, the extra movement speed on your infantry, I mean, are you really going to be able to achieve too much? And look at this. I don't think this wall will get up over on this west side of the base, which means that the food is going to be exposed. There's 8 berries here. There's also the 7 deer. So a lot to be exposed. And still at this point, Don with no idea. So Don playing in the dark now, up against an enemy who is looking to barrel down upon him with the army that we begin to see making its way here. And he sees the men-at-arms and immediately there should be a signal going off in Don's head right now, like, this is not good. Archery ranges getting dropped down, but look, no resources in the bank whatsoever to throw down subsequent archery ranges. Fortunately, this archery range is coming up underneath the town center, but it's a little bit exposed. There's always the possibility this wall comes down. He looks to start working on the production facilities, and now we can see +1 ranged armor already through. The age up comes through for the Don. Culture wing going to be on the way through for him, but not really going to give him a lot of options. He's got the preservation of knowledge on the way through. That's going to reduce the cost of the age up, and we can see that Imperial Age is almost through for Don Artie. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. We'll switch it over now to income per minute so that you can see exactly where he's up to. And straight away, Sass begins working on the villagers. These villagers yet to pick up their textile upgrade, but still plenty of res being generated, gathered over on that east side of the base. Expect to see the age up coming through any second for the Don. Preservation of knowledge is through. He's got enough for it. He's got enough. Whether he clicks it or not, he needs to click it right now and keep that crossbow production coming. Where is it, Don? Where is it? He's dealing with the enemy right now. Men at arms underneath the town center. He finally clicks it. The military wing is coming through. He's looking to defend, and you can see he's really struggling to keep his head above water here. So many men at arms in the base right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he looks to pick up additional upgrades. He's already got the +2 ranged armor through. Sass is going to work right now. Big military for Sass right now, and this is exactly why he went for this deer. I was a bit curious. I'm like, why is he going for this deer? He doesn't need this deer if he's going straight to Imperial, you know, just doing the classic Regnitz thing. But he wasn't doing the classic Regnitz thing. He needs this food for this men at arm production. But Don somehow managing to hold on, despite having barely any units on the field, just a handful of spearmen together with the men-at-arms. A lot of idle time, though, coming out right now for Don Artie. We can see he's got 24 idle villagers. He's also just got villagers running around. Ideally, what Sass needs to be doing is finding those villagers that are on resources and causing them to be idle even more. That's the big thing that Sass needs to be doing here. Men-at-arms managing to find the villagers under the wood line. Big mass of units still building in the center of the map, and you can see he's got plenty of units in queue. Don Artie, 40 seconds away from the Imperial Age. I think that when it comes to Imperial Age defenses, the Holy Roman Empire, when they're on the attack, they offer a really good incentive to kill your enemy, but the Abbasid, on a defensive standpoint, or from a defensive standpoint, incredible when you think about it. Just the fact that you get those 3 units, it really reminds me of Age of Empires 3. And so Don Artie somehow manages to keep his head above water throughout this early fight. And now we move on to the next phase of the game, which is Don Artie's Imperial Age. Because in 10 seconds, the age up comes through. Don's got plenty of res in the bank. The one thing to note is he doesn't have a lot of production. So when he hits Imperial, I suspect he's going to be moving into hand cannoneers. They don't have the fastest movement speed, but they've got plenty of damage. Age up comes through. Don Artie going to be adding those hand cannoneers to his forces here. And now he looks to defend back against a Burgrave attack, which I'm genuinely surprised. I don't know why this Burgrave wasn't successful. Maybe it was just Don's utilization of the town centers that really was quite well. He kind of gave him the runaround, I'm going to be honest. But now Don just gets to chill out. He's managed to wall off this west side. He's got plenty of access to resources over here. But we do hear relics are getting picked up behind this. Sass sitting with 2 relics in the bag. 3rd relic on the way in at the moment. We see a monastery being thrown down in the back of the base. Nice and safe. Just to keep those relics in, and more men-at-arms now going to be moving towards that gold vein. You can see, I don't even think, does Sass even have these guys on an attack route? On an attack route? It doesn't look like it. So Don going to get the heads up, and we can see one villager just getting blocked out there with a little carry bag, and indeed, he's just moving, I think, towards the relics, and now spots out those villagers. The consequence of no attack move is no dead villagers. Upgrade comes through, a little bit of extra damage, the 2-handed weapons being completed. Now on the south side, Sass under attack. Don now moving towards the north side, looking to cover his own position. And sacred sites are being captured. I think if there's one thing that Sass could have done differently, it would have been have those extra prelates out sooner and then look to capture sacred sites immediately. I think it's a great way when you're going Burgrave, because you're going to maintain map control with the Burgrave and you can put on the pressure, but in addition to that, you just get the extra gold. But it's like you've got that sacred victory triggering immediately upon age up. That's a really nice use of that. But look at the hand cannoneers up towards the top side, just taking out those men-at-arms. Villagers going to be on the run here. Have picked up their textiles upgrade, so a little bit of extra health here. Town center's under pressure. Sacred victory not yet approaching. Only the one sacred site for the now. Hand cannoneers numbers are increasing. He's up to 5 hand cannoneers now, 6 technically. More archery rangers did go down, and look at the numbers. Yeah, hand cannoneer numbers really starting to build here. Don Artie loves moving into these hand cannoneers. He's got to be careful though. You can see that one of them copping a whole bunch of damage to the face. More of a run through coming in, and Sass. I mean, in this position, where does Sass go from here, right? Because he's down a little bit on villager count. He doesn't have the regnits, but he is capturing relics. He sits on 3 relics currently. Obviously, can take the 4th relic. The 5th relic, unlikely that he picks it up, but obviously still a possibility. But where does he go from there? I mean, hypothetically, I guess you could take sacred sites, but the thing is, even if you take sacred sites, drop keeps on them, put relics in them, even if you got bombard emplacements or cannon emplacements, I mean, realistically, you're not going to hold against the Abbasid dynasty with a 15 vil advantage already. We're at 16 minutes, and now he's got enough hand cannoneers. I think he's going to be able to one-shot these men-at-arms on the way through. Sass got to be careful. Now, I will let you guys know that a link in the description to both of these players and their channels will be provided, but if you'd like to watch them live over on Twitch, you can do that at in the Outback Octagon. Both of these guys do participate, so make sure you come check them out. Make sure you come check out the Outback Octagon as well. 15 GMT or 11 AM Eastern. Second sacred site now taken by Sass. Needs to work on that third one. Speaking of third sacred sites, there it is now. So Sass finally going to be triggering that sacred victory. Keep is going to be attempted to be dropped down here. Don looks like he probably should be able to get it up. A lot of villagers moving out here, and you can see that Don just slowly but steadily closing out all of these forces from his enemy. Honestly, he's done a pretty decent job of just defending, but I think that Sass has tried his best to keep his enemy down. We do see that 5th relic. He's being picked up. Keep in mind there's still a safe relic out here in the center. Outpost going to be going down next to it, so he's well and truly aware of it, but Sass looking for it. Now, the keep comes through, which means Don's going to be able to secure this 3rd gold. Tertiary gold is really important when you're playing an Imperial build like this. So obviously the 1st gold has been completely gathered. The 2nd gold over towards the east side. It's a bit of a safe gold, so securing it. Get off my screen, sacred site objective. Not interested in you. Now Don's going to be looking to capture the sacred site. I swear, if these guys end up playing Leapfrog, I don't know, what do you call it? I was watching Miss Rachel, which is my son's favorite YouTuber. Google it to find out more. She called it a teeter-totter? We call it a seesaw in Australia. But if these guys start seesawing sacred sites, I'm going to be a little bit sad. That's a lot of S's for you. A little bit of alliteration. Check out these bad boys. Been walled out of their own base. Hand cannon is going to be moving up here, looking to clean it up. 1. Look at the damage that comes through. Yet to see chemistry coming in for Don. Has he even moved into a university yet? Take a look at Don's upgrades, actually. When you look at Don's upgrades, he's picked up +1 on the offensive. And hold on a minute, we got a bit of a push coming out right now. Sass is yet to age up. It looked like he was going for Imp. I don't think he's going to be able to find it on the defensive. Could look for an Elsback or something like that, but even then, I mean, look at the amount of vills that Don's brought here. He's got 26 vills with him. Probably just going to be looking to throw down a keep right here on top of that production. Really good spot. Obviously, it seems a bit obvious from here, but even with Sass trying to defend over on this east side, it's not going to matter because all the production is here. And if you can take out the production, then you stop a lot of that attack. Don now under pressure. Vills cash in, but is he just going to look to siege down this position? Or is Don just doing what Don Artie does best? I think Don's just pulling all the vills right now. He's like, you know what? It's time. We're just going for the landmarks. Don't tell me that's actually what Don's doing. Is Don actually just going for the landmarks, or is he throwing down other keeps? Oh, he's still got a lot of stone in the bank. So it's probably just Don Artie, what are you doing right now? It's another keep. Wallolol attempt. It's a little bit of a beastie classic. Hand cannoneers got to be careful. Getting chased down by the hand cannoneers. Well, getting chased down by the horsemen, rather. Looks like the keep is probably going to go up here. He's going to try and take it down. There's so many villagers here for the Don. He's got 28 vills. It seems unlikely that this gets stopped. Lord Doubt definitely falling asleep at the keyboard in this game. And now this keep comes up, and with that, you've got a real problem, because now your entire food economy has been completely locked down. So Don Artie locks down the production, locks down the food economy. Villagers stay inside the keep, and he's still got 1,500 stone. Has lost a lot. Oh my god, he's lost a lot of villagers on this top side. I don't think he was paying attention. Don Artie, he's lost 58 vills so far. He's still going ham with the villagers. Hand cannon is doing a little bit of a runaround. Unfortunately, they will get caught out of position. And Don Artie back down to 10 villagers a difference between the two. The keep is up. The best way you're going to be dealing with this is probably at this point a trebuchet or two. When you see the keep here, you're probably thinking maybe I should get 3 trebuchets, maybe even 4 trebs. Probably not a bad idea here, but up against Don, you've got to be careful of the culverin. And now, over towards this top side of the map. Gold being gathered up safely. Still Sass looking to try and find a way through. Spring placement is through for Sass. Really annoying trying to deal with these just because of that extra fire armor that comes in. It means that you can't actually just task these 45 villagers to kill this outpost. I mean, you probably could, but it creates some issues for you. And now we see the outpost down on this large gold vein going to be under threat. Don Artie just really looking to move around this map. Boiling oil going to be coming in, but just keep in mind he's locked down this farmland completely. I mean, you could try and put some vills on the top side here, but it's dangerous going up against this keep. Keep will come up over on this central location. The best thing for Don to do right now is just siege down this outpost before any emplacements come through. We obviously know that there's an emplacement on the way in. Don doesn't know that, but he would suspect that there is an emplacement on the way through. Men-at-Arms should do a pretty decent job of slowing it down. And Don now heading to the other side. There is havoc all over this map right now. Let's ride on board with Sass. I want to see exactly what it looks like from his perspective. He doesn't really feel like he's in control of this game. At least that's the way it feels to me. More villagers were coming down on the south side. 72 villagers gone down. 74 villagers gone down. 75 villagers gone down this game right now. Sass just eliminating vills left, right, and center. Mining camp will go down as well. And now Don going to be pushing down towards this position. He knows his enemies down here. A lot of outposts on this map. Really, Sass has done a great job with the outposts. And Don did eventually, inevitably, take down that outpost. Lost a couple of villagers for it. He's lost 76 this game. But, I mean, to be fair, Don's clapped back pretty effectively. He's taken out 32. And he continues to make his way down towards the south side. We'll ride on board with the Don and see what his vision looks like. Definitely nowhere near as strong as what his enemies got. We can see the Don now just going to be returning back up towards his position. Spotted out the siege workshop. Will be baited towards the town center. At the top side. Under pressure from that outpost on that western flank. And the spring emplacements come through. He's looking for fortification. Does he? I don't think he actually hits the villagers here. So what he'll need to do is throw the relic. Actually, oh, where are the relics? Oh, he doesn't have a relic. That's not the best. Because he could put another outpost or two down here, and he'd be doing a lot of damage to Don. All right, we'll ride on board back again with Sass. You can see he's under pressure. The keeps are still positioned pretty heavily in his base. Outpost. Springer emplacements come in. Hand cannoneer is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage to the outpost, but the spears should be able to. Needs to evacuate these villagers. Not paying attention. Losing a lot of vills here. The Springwood emplacement will hold the position, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if all the vills are dead. And Don manages to take out a lot of villagers right there, directly hitting that food source of his enemy. And now Don looking for a secondary keep. I say a secondary keep. He's got so many keeps at this point. I think we're talking quintuple, sextuple. Please, YouTube, don't demonetize me. I'm referring to the number. You never know with YouTube. You never know. So, at this point, Sass is doing a good job recovering, right? Like, he's built up farms now over on the east side of the map, but he has lost the Archon. And the problem that he's got is that all 3 of his landmarks are somewhat exposed. If Don wanted to, Don could very easily just get the rams out, take him to the ranch, and keep in mind, he is playing as the Abbasid dynasty, so he's already got access to build those battering rams if he so chooses. Speaking of battering rams, we now see 5 of the world's best coming out from Sass as he begins to make his way down towards his south side. Don going to be working on a siege workshop instead of the battering ram. Got to be careful. Horsemen coming through. And Don just sticking with spears and hand cannoneers. Also goes for the cannon emplacement. We do see the cannon emplacement upgrade has come through. 70 damage. These guys do a lot of damage. Hand cannoneers looking to try and deal with the horsemen pretty effectively. Keep in mind, Don went fast Imperial this game. And it's still looking this even throughout it all. Sass managing to keep up on villager count. Only down 19 vills. And now going to be able to clean up the first of the keeps in his base. It's taken a while for him to react to this, honestly. I feel like Sass has just been putting out fires everywhere. But speaking of fire, Don Artie looking to bring a little bit of a little bit of torches to the party. And indeed, it's going to be the case. The first of the battering rams goes down. Second one, almost in the blink of an eye, goes down as well. How many vills does Don have you right here? 35 villagers. Each one dealing 12 damage to torch, or to siege. Which is, I'm just going to do some math here, almost enough to one-shot the battering ram. Not quite, though. Is it? 35.27? Actually, I think it's just exactly enough to one-shot a battering ram. He's down to 30. Yeah. You know what? I think I might. I'm just. Do we dare do some quick math again? Okay. So if I've got a villager and I've got, how many did we have? I think we had 35, right? Or 30? No, we had 32. I'm just gonna go with 32. So 30 villagers, 12. So that's 360. So 12 wouldn't be. So 32 wouldn't be enough. I think if you had 35 though, it would be, because then you'd get. Oh gosh, I shouldn't do maths. I should not be doing maths right now. Now is not the time for math, Drongo. You know what's kind of crazy though? Is that despite these attacks coming through, neither player has more than double digits when it comes to military. It's very much jostling for position with what little they have. And I think the crazy thing is the fact that they've got so many villages. Like, they can support a huge amount of units, and yet it's all keeps. It's all outposts, it's all emplacements, it's all rams. There's just a handful of hand cannoneers, a handful of spearmen that are out, and now look at this. Don Artie, the secret proxy base from the south side. He comes in just like the battering rams do, looking to get him behind. And now those hand cannoneers, together with the spears, make their way towards the bottom side of the town center. Don Artie starts taking out villagers. He's taken out 52 this game so far. He's lost 90 himself, so quite a ways to go. Keep going to be thrown up from Sass. Looking to try and keep this east pocket safe. He's got a lot of good stuff out here. Large gold vein, plenty of farms, a little bit of wood as well. So there's a really good reason to keep it safe. But Don, just under attack from all positions. Emergency repairs comes through, but from Sass. Looking to keep the stable alive. And now that battering ram is looking to take down the keep. It looks like we got a little bit of a roadblock. Don Artie finding his way through. These units on the south side are working their way towards protecting the keep, but the battering rams are intent on taking it down, even though there's a roadblock, 2 at a time. And now Sass realizes, he moves them up, and already you can see the difference. Like, even at this point, like, these battering rams should have killed this keep. It was just because of the roadblock that they didn't. And Don Artie going to be trying to keep it alive. Town center. Nowhere to be seen on this. It all comes down to this keep. 500, he's starting to heal it up with a little bit. It looks like the keep's going to stay alive. All because of that roadblock. A single roadblock. Potentially just cost Sass the game. 13 villagers difference. And Don now starting with the rams of his own. You're not the only one with the ability to come from behind, Sass. Don Artie says. Landscanet coming out. It gets one shot. Almost. Boiling oil comes out right on top of it. Poor Ronald McDonald. Look at, you can see. Look at all of the dead Ronalds lying there on the ground. The boiling oil. Taking them all out. Poor little guys, dude. And now Don starting to commit to the landmarks. He's happy with his position. He says, you know what? I think we're fine here. Now, one way that Sass can survive this is by putting a 4th landmark somewhere on the map. But if he does that, then all of a sudden he's throwing away quite a lot of resources. And to be honest, I feel like Don's at a pretty significant advantage at this point. Take a look at the score. I mean, the score doesn't agree. The score thinks Sass is up 700 points. He's going to try his best to hold on, though. Villagers. No emergency repairs used on that last landmark. He will throw it down on the town center, though. Horsemen coming through. Don Artie manages to come back through this game, and we see additional battering rams being pulled in, but once again, the villagers working through the battering rams. And this is the consequence of not going for trebuchets. I feel like just having 2 or 3 trebuchets in this little pocket here, guarded up by some spearmen. I mean, how do you deal with that? It's very difficult attacking into an enemy who's got all that. And look at the farmland completely destroyed. 2nd landmark under pressure here. 3rd landmark being worked down. Don Artie's got to be careful though. Ronald McDonald. Actually, don't worry about Ronald McDonald. It's the men-at-arms you got to worry about. Could be big damage coming out right now. Hit and it's a swing and a big hit. Comes in for the 2nd one. New one comes out. He's only getting off like 1 shot before every single Lance cadet goes down. I don't actually... Is it even getting a shot off? It looks like it's just coming out. No swings, no misses. It's a swing and a miss. And it's a good game. It's a good game at this point. Don Artie victorious. An incredible game coming out from Don Artie. Absolute insanity. Manages to deal with the Burgrave. Throws down keeps in the enemy's base. Locks him out of heaven. Locks him out. Just like Bruno Mars got locked out of his own farms. It's the exact same thing here. Don Artie manages to pull off the victory. All of the villagers get pulled and the game gets called. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, go and check out Don Artie. I'll leave a link in the description. Go check out Sass as well. I'll leave a link for him. And of course, make sure you come check out the Octagon. We'll be live in about, what, 12 hours, 13 hours from when this video gets posted. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.